everybody. Let's talk a little bit about a subject that people talk an awful lot about, but they don't often use it in practice, not only not in sales, in business, but also not in everyday life, in their personal relationships, just their everyday experiences, which is listening. So ironically, as I just said, most people want to talk. They don't truly want to listen. And it's a skill. It really is a skill that not only are you going to utilize to your benefit in business, clearly in sales, but also your everyday life, your personal relationships, getting what you want out of life, helping others, contributing. If you're not a great listener, you need to become one. And as I often state, in sales, we know that selling isn't telling. Selling is asking great questions, to learn, to discover, to understand, to empathize with that person sitting across from you, your relationship partner, your dance partner, if you will, in the sales process. And you ask those questions so that you can understand, and you can only understand if you're listening. So it sounds really simple, and it should be, but it's not that simple for most people. There's a lot of people that think they're listening, but they're truly not. How often have you guys, and I'm speaking specifically to you guys out there, when you're in a relationship, how often have you been frustrated when you feel like you're really listening to your romantic other and your partner is not feeling heard? She's not feeling like you're empathizing, you're understanding. You're listening to her words, you're listening to what they have to say, and maybe how it relates to you, but you're not really empathizing, right? You're not really, you're listening with the intent to respond, maybe to put up walls, a defense, or to wait your turn to talk. How many women complain about that to you men out there, right? And they're not wrong many times. We so often listen with the intent to respond, or the intent to say something, or to prove our point, or put up a wall, to create a defense, to defend ourselves, for a million different reasons. But the point of the matter is that what we ought to be doing is listening with the intent to understand, not the intent to respond. What we're doing is asking quality questions. That's what selling is. And truly and actively listening. Okay, so how do we do that? Right? We always talk about it, but how do we actually do that in practice? Especially when it pertains to sales, which, by the way, we're salespeople. What I always say a salesperson really and truly is, if you're a good one, you are a professional relationship builder. And this is your relationship. Just like you would have a romantic partner, you also have your business partner, this person you're working with, to help them find a solution. Therefore, we must listen to them as if they were just as important as our romantic partner, and sometimes more important for the people who are not having a good time in their relationship. So what you're going to do are several key things. There's several practical things you can do, and there's several things that you want to keep in mind as you're talking to someone. Okay, we've already mentioned the biggest one, which is we're listening to understand, with the intent to understand, to inhabit that person's experience in that moment, to try to empathize with them. You know, maybe in your mind you're going, that's interesting. I want to, all right, and really listening and trying to see their perspective, not with the intention of turning it around and point your point of view right away, but to really understand. And the way you can show that to your partner, this situation, is to ask follow-up great questions after that. It sounds to me like you're saying this. I interpret what you're saying to mean this. I understand what you're saying to mean this. Oh, that's interesting. And then empathize with them. That's interesting. It's interesting that you feel that way. I can see why you might feel that way because of X, Y, and Z. And what you said. Anything that shows that you're getting them, that you're understanding, or at least that you're trying to, and then they can always clear it up for you. So few people do that, guys, that it becomes incredibly valuable. You're going to get so many points just for doing that, because especially in today's world, my God, you know, everything's about me, and understand me, but no one's listening to the other person. So it becomes a bunch of, it becomes a world of millions of people going me, 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 me. But all they want you to do is, all they want to do is get their message out, get their point of view out. Pay attention to me, as opposed to maybe the wisest people are the ones that actually are listening, because those are the people that are really valuable, right? What do we often say? We're giving God, nature, gave us 2 ears, one mouth, right? So we're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk. Now, it's ironic that I would say something, because anyone that's experienced one of my sales presentations will know that I do speak, excuse me, quite a bit. But I also ask a lot of great questions, and I also do a lot of listening, and I efficiently try to ensure that the people sitting across from me feel heard and they feel understood. And I feel that reflects in my sales numbers, right? Because if someone is listening, if you're a good listener, people feel heard, they feel comfortable, they trust you, right? Because we're trying to build trust here as well, and it's authentic, and they buy that, So very important. Now, there's a few practical things you can do as well. Show that you're listening with your body language. As you're speaking, you can scoot up. Eye contact is always great. Nod, showing that you understand. I think a salesperson's tool, it's very simple. Piece of paper, your needs analysis sheet, whatever you want to call it, a pen, and asking open-ended question, listening, understanding, taking it in, saying something, either a statement or another follow question that shows that you understand, and you're writing it down, writing down. Sometimes I'll even stop in the middle of what they're saying, not to be rude, but to follow up with the question immediately. Hey, I just want to make sure I clarify that I understand what you're saying. Okay, so you mean this, X, Y, and Z. Yes, I mean that. Or no, allow me to clarify that. And then you write it down. They feel listened to. Right? A lot of people think it's corny to have a pen and a piece of paper to listen. No, if you feel weird about it, ask them, hey, do you mind if I take notes? I just want to make sure that I understand you fully and that I don't leave anything out. Is that okay? But trust me, guys, people love to be listened to. They love to talk. People love to talk about themselves. We just got through saying it. So you're giving them the opportunity to do so. And then when you listen on top of it, you truly become a rare and valuable person. So take notes, these sort of things. It's not difficult in theory, but in practice, so few people do it because, it's like if you go on a date with someone, for example, right? Ladies, how many times have you gone on a date with a guy? And of course, this has happened the other way around too. And gentlemen, you've experienced this as well. But you sit across from somebody and all they're doing is promoting themselves. Bro, right? Promotion vomits all over you. How great they are, what job they have, how much money they make. Why they're the greatest at this, the greatest at that. And they never even asked you a single question about yourself. How do you feel about something? Tell me about your life. What are your passions? What are your ambitions? What are you trying to get out of this or out of anything? How do they feel? If you've been on a lot of dates, you'll know that those sort of people are out there. Probably the vast majority of the time that you go on dates, you're going to experience that with a lot of people. So the point of the matter is, it's not just about sales. Sales is a microcosm of life, right? Whether you realize or not, everyone's a salesperson. They're either a good one or a bad one, right? You negotiate what you eat for lunch with your friend. You negotiate your salary. You negotiate for a car deal. Negotiate. You're selling your ideas all the time, your opinions all the time. You're always selling them. Now, whether or not people are buying them is a different story. But it might be, if they're not buying them, not that you're not a great promoter, it's that you're not a great salesperson. Great salespersons are also a great listener. They want to understand that person's perspective. They want to embody and really embrace what that person has to say so they can understand. And once you understand, then you can really give that person what they need. You can find them that solution. It's catered to them. You can give them an experience, and they're going to trust you. And they're going to, because if you're giving them the gift of listening and understanding and empathizing, they're going to give that back to you. And you're going to become so valuable to them. And that's going to be compensated by your commissions. So a simple concept to give guys, not really easy to do. There's a lot of books out there about listening. a lot of great sales books, as you know. And I do a lot of writing and a lot of my full course videos on this. These are more supplemental where I can kind of dive into each little subject a little better. But I talk a lot about listening, right? Because selling isn't telling. Selling is asking great questions, understanding, right? Building value. And of course, building value is built in when you listen, building commitment, and then providing solutions for people based off of that understanding. Okay, that's all I got for you today. But again, get out there, create some relationships. All right, make your relationships that you already have even better. That includes your romantic relationships. And I'm telling you, maybe you're in a relationship right now that person does not feel understood and heard. Well, make them feel understood and heard. It's not just about you. It's about both of you. And they should be doing the same for you. And they will if you listen to them first. Try that. Okay, till next time.